Good morning, boys and girls. It is Fido Day 12, Tuesday, March 31st. Today we are going to do the review, almost all of it, not quite all of the review in our book. We're going to be working on book pages 695 and 696. You may also need your gold note packet for chapter 9 notes. Okay, because we're going to be reviewing a lot. That's why there's a lot of other instructional videos here, because you may want to visit those videos if you're struggling with simplifying fractions, adding and subtracting fractions, adding mixed numbers, subtracting mixed numbers, or estimating with mixed numbers. So there's some other videos here. If you need to get your book and your notes, go ahead and pause now. And then we're going to take a look on page 695 is where we're starting today. We're looking at the top. We have some vocabulary terms here, as you can see. You know, you can always look back in the chapter for these vocabulary terms, or you can flip to the back of your book into the blue section. I would like you guys to pause the video and go ahead and fill these out. And while you're pausing the video and filling them out, I am going to do the same. Okay? Go ahead and pause it. If you are back with me, you'll see I completed number 1, fractions that have the same denominator, such as 1/3 and 2/3 are like fractions. So that one is done. Number 2, fractions that have the same value, such as 1/4 and 2/8 are equivalent fractions. Number 3, the blank of 5/6 and 7/12 is 12. That would be your LCD, or least common denominator. And number 4, a number that has a whole number part and a fraction part is called a mixed number. And number 5, an example of 2 blank are 1/8 and 3/4, and that is unlike fractions. Double check yours. Give yourself stars on numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you got them right. And then number 6, 7, and 8, I'm going to give you guys time to work on that. So go ahead and pause the video again. Okay, you should be back now, and numbers 6, 7, and 8 should be done. 4/7. Well, 4 is half of 8. So 4 is very close to half of 7. So I would round 4/7 to 1/2. Number 7, 9/10. 9 is almost equal to 10. So I would round that to 1. And 2/9. 2 is pretty far away from 9. So I would round that to about 0. Double check 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to flip over to page 696. On page 696, we are going to add the top 3 together. And then I'm going to have you pause it and add numbers 12 through... Actually, you know what? Let's do numbers 9, 12, and 15 together. So let me get my thing set up here so that you guys can see me doing numbers 9, 12, and 15. Number 9. These are already like. I add numerators, leave the denominator the same. I think of a number that I can divide into both of them to write it into simplest form. That is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Good answer there is 2/3, simplest form. 10 and 11 are going to be just like number 9. So if you want to pause it and do those, you may, or you can continue on right now with me on number 12. Either way, I'm going to do 10 and 11 in just a minute. 3/5 plus 1/10. Well, these are not like fractions, but I can change the 5 into a 10 by multiplying by 2. If I multiply the bottom by 2, I've got to multiply the top by 2. So 3/5 written another way would be 6/10. 6/10 plus 1/10, now they're like. 6 plus 1 is 7. Keep the 10 on the bottom. 7/10. And number 15, we are going to add our two fraction parts. 3/4 plus 2 4ths. That gives me 5/4. 5/4 is improper. So I'm going to rewrite that. After I divide, 4 goes into 5 one time, 1 left over. That 1 goes on top, the 4 goes on the bottom. So another way to write that is 1 and 1/4. Now I'm going to add up my 3 whole numbers. 6 plus 2, and don't forget that guy right there, plus 1 is 9. So my sum is 9 and then the 1/4 attached to it. 1/4 is already in simplest form, just like 7/10 was up here. Alrighty, I'm going to fold my book over a little bit more. Actually, I think I might just do it. Give me 1 second to adjust this. I think I can move my box over like that and up just a little bit. We're going to do 10 and 11. Go ahead and pause the video, complete 10 and 11, and then when you come back, we're going to go over 10 and 11. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, these are like fractions, so we're going to add the tops, add the numerators. 6 plus 1 is 7. Keep the denominator the same, 7. And everybody knows 7/7 is 1 whole. And on number 11, again, like fractions, add the numerators. 5 plus 1 is 6. Keep the denominator the same, 8. Think of a number that will go into both of these. I'm sure you probably already have thought 2 will go into both of those. 6 divided by 2 on top is 3. 8 divided by 2 on bottom is 4. Simplest form, 3/4. Number 13, we've got to change these denominators. I can make that 2 and 8. If I multiply the 2 times 4 on the bottom, I get 8. But I've got to multiply the 1 on top times 4 to give me 4. Now I've got them like fractions. Add the numerators. 4 plus 1 is 5. Keep the denominator the same, 8. Go ahead and pause the video and try number 14 on your own. Then when you come back, it'll be right here ready for you. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, welcome back. You should have number 14 done. 7. We've got to try to make this 7 and 14 the same number. Well, I can make a 7 a 14. If I multiply that 7 times 2, it becomes a 14. But I've also got to multiply the 2 times 2 on top, making it a 4. I wrote 9. I meant 4. Here we go. We're going to add 4 14ths with 5 14ths. Like fractions, add the numerators 9, keep the denominator the same. You might start to think, well, will 2 go into both of those numbers? It will not. Will 3 go into both of those numbers? It will not. I can't think of anything except for 1, so I know 9/14 is in simplest form. Down here, number 16. One more time, let's pull out our fraction parts. These fractions are already like fractions, so we're going to just add the numerator, keep the denominator the same. I can divide the numerator and the denominator by 3 to get 1/4. Now let's add up our whole numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4. Put our whole number with our fraction answer right there. Go ahead and pause the video and try number 17 on your own. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, welcome back. We're going to pull out 1/3 plus 2/6. Well, these are not like fractions. I can make the 3 into a 2 or into a 6 if I multiply by 2. If I multiply the bottom by 2, I multiply the top by 2. So when I go to add up these fractions, I'm actually going to add up 2/6 with 2/6, which is 4/6. I can divide 4 by 2, and I can divide 6 by 2 to give me 2/3. Now I'm going to go back and add up the 12 with the 6 to give me 18. Correct answer is 18 and 2/3. Alrighty, now we're going to do some subtracting. They want us to estimate first. We're not going to do that. If you are not confident with an answer, then you could estimate. But if you're confident with your answer, there's going to be no need to. All right, let's do number 18 together. And we're going to do number 21 together. And then you can do 19, 20, 22, and 23 on your own. And I'll go over those. So on number 18, like fractions, 7 minus 3 is 4. Keep 16 on the bottom. I can divide both 4 and 16 by 4 to give me 1/4. Number 21, like fractions? No, they are not. We are going to change the bottom numbers to be the same. And just looking at these numbers, you might want to use 54. But I also know that 9 can turn into an 18 if I multiply it by 2. And 6 can turn into an 18 if I multiply it by 3. Now let's go back to 8 nines. I multiplied the 9 by 2, so I've got to multiply the 8 by 2 to make it 16. Let's look at 5, 6. I made the 6, I multiplied it by 3, so I got to multiply the 5 by 3, making it 15. 16, take away 15 on top is 1. 18 stays on the bottom. That's already in simplest form. Pause the video now and go ahead and try 19 and 20, which are like fractions, 22 and 23, which are unlike fractions. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. 11 minus 7 on number 19 is 5. Keep the 12 on the bottom. That's already in simplest form. 4 minus 2 on top for number 20 is 2. Keep the 5 on the bottom. That's in simplest form. 12 and 18, I would have made both of those 24. I can multiply the 12 times 2 to make it a 24, and the 8 times 3 to make it a 24. If I multiplied the bottom of 11 twelfths by 2, I got to multiply the top by 2. That's 22 24ths. If I multiply the bottom 8 by 3, I got to multiply the top by 3. That's 21 24ths. They're like fractions. 22 minus 21 is 1. Keep the 24 on the bottom. Over here, number 23. Almost there today, guys. I got to make the denominators the same. I can make a 5 a 10 by multiplying by 2. Since I multiplied the bottom of 1/5 by 2, I got to multiply the top by 2. So 1/5 becomes 2/10. Like fractions, 7 minus 2 is 5. Keep the 10 on the bottom. I can divide 5 by 5, and I can divide 10 by 5. Simplest form of that answer would be 1/2. Double check yourselves. Double check this. Rewind if you're having trouble. Listen to my explanation again. Now I'm going to move us over. Like I said, pause and rewind if it needs to happen. Please pause yourself and pause me and go ahead back and look at something again if you need it. We're going to do numbers 24 and 25 on page 697. Russ is putting together his vacation photographs in an album that is 12 1/8 inches long and 10 1/4 inches wide. Should he trim the edges of the photographs to 12 inches long and 10 inches wide? Or to 12 1/2 inches long and 10 1/2 inches wide? So basically what we're looking is the book is only 12 1/8 inches long. If we trim it to 12 inches, no pictures will overhang. If we trim it to 12 1/2, that's going to be too long. That's going to be over the edge of the length. So 12 1/2 inches long is not going to work. The book is also only 10 1/4 inches wide. If we trim it to 10 inches wide, then we won't go over the edge. But if we trim it to 10 1/2 inches wide, it's going to hang over the edge, boys and girls. So our best choice would be to do it 12 inches long, because it will be shorter than the book in length, and 10 inches wide because it will be shorter than the width of the book. So that's why that's the best choice there. And number 25, our last one of the day, Steve watched television 3/4 of an hour on Monday and 5/6 of an hour on Tuesday. How much longer did he watch TV on Tuesday than on Monday? So we're going to take 5/6 and subtract 3/4. Now you might want to make the denominators 12 there, or 24 there, but we could make them 12. 6 times 2 will make it 12. 4 times 3 will make it 12. If I multiply 5/6 by 2 on the bottom, I got to do it on top, making my numerator 10. If I multiply 3/4 on the bottom by 3, I got to do it on top, making my numerator 9. 10/12 minus 9/12 is 1/12 hour, boys and girls, and that's already in simplest form. Hopefully you did these along with me. Hopefully you checked your work. You did some on your own. That's all we're going to complete from the review pages today. You do not need to submit me any work for today. I am taking your word on it. I'm hoping that you're doing this along with me, and I'm trusting that if you have been turning in all the other days 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then you've also done day 12 with me. Take care, boys and girls. I miss you so much.